Everyone wants to be rich, but few people think like the rich. You see, the 1% don't just work harder, they think differently. And here's how. In today's video, I'm gonna walk you through exactly how to think like the 1% so you can grow your business, grow your wealth, and not just work harder and smarter, but using the secrets that the wealthiest business owners on this planet all have in common. Why should you listen to me? My name is derailing. I'm the CEO and founder of Healthpreneur. For the past 20 years, I've been building 7- and 8-figure companies online, helping health professionals and coaches do the same in theirs. I'm a New York Times bestselling author, and I love helping you grow your business. So the first thing I want you to understand is that thinking and growing rich is not just about visualizing Lambos and shouting affirmations. That can have its place, but the truly wealthy entrepreneurs on this planet do things differently. They think in models, they think in leverage, they think in laws of cause and effect. And I'm gonna help you think through some of those modalities in this video so that by the end of this, you can leave with a tangible roadmap of like, hey, if I start doing this differently, my outcomes will be different as well. So let's start off by talking about the thinking gap that keeps you and most people broke. It's linear thinking. It's this idea that if I earn this amount of money for this amount of time, then if I want to make more money, then I simply have to work more or charge a little bit more. And this, you can never become part of the 1% by following that type of model. If you're a practitioner or coach and you think that charging more or working more hours is going to get you there, it has a ceiling. I call this the capacity ceiling. You can only work so many hours and you can only charge so much. But the 1% don't think linearly, they think exponentially. So as an example, when I was a trainer, personal trainer, way back in the day, I would work 12 to 14 hours a day, trading dollars for hours. And I hit a ceiling very quickly with that. And then I started to see that there was no light at the end of that tunnel. Yet I had a much bigger vision for my life, and I realized the vehicle that I was in wasn't gonna get me there. But it wasn't just the vehicle. I had to think differently. I had to think to myself, what are people doing that are making way more money than me? What are they doing differently? What are they thinking? How are they thinking differently? And I started to piece this stuff together as I started reading books like Think and Grow Rich or similar books like that over the years, but also putting myself in environments where I got to sit, hang out, and meet other very successful entrepreneurs because I wasn't interested in copying what they did. I wanted to know how they thought. And I wanted to have conversations to pick up on little nuances. I'll give you an example. So many years ago, I worked with Dan Sullivan, who's an unbelievable human. He's the head honcho at Strategic Coach. And we were flying back from an event in New York together. At the time, I didn't fly business class. This is way back in my early days. And he was. And I asked him, I'm like, Dan, you fly business class for like a 45-minute flight? And he said something that will stay with me forever. He said, it's not about the duration of the flight. It's about the standards I hold for myself. And I was like, geez. I was like, wow, I didn't even think of that. That's incredible. No wonder he was where he was. And so when you hang around people like this and you start to just by osmosis capture how they think and how they navigate life, it changes your paradigm. It's like you've seen the Matrix now. And that's part of what I want to do with you in this video. So number one is we want to get out of linear thinking and we want to get into exponential thinking. So tactically, how do we do that? Well, the poor and the middle class basically adopt the linear model, which is like, if I do more or charge more, then I will earn more. But what wealthy people do, what the 1% do, is they say to themselves, if I build better systems, if I build better assets or invest in assets, I will earn more because they will do more of the work for me. That's the key distinction here. So when I'm working with clients, busy practitioners and coaches, they don't have all day to just work on their business. They're working in their business too. And a lot of times they'll be like, yeah, like I'm really busy. Like, I don't know if I can take all this on. And it's like, hold on, just to be clear, I'm not having you do more stuff. We're going to look at your plate and take all the stuff off your plate. That is a complete waste of time. Because you're going to be busy as it is, whether we're now or 5 years into the future, you're still going to be busy. But would it make sense to build systems and assets today that will work for you for the rest of your life? Because if you're going to work hard, you might as well work hard building systems and assets that buy back your time, that create more leverage, that allow you to ride the exponential curve instead of the linear curve. Does that make sense? So that's the first thing, is the thinking of moving from linear to exponential. getting away from charging more or working more to building systems and assets that work for you. The poor think like workers. The rich think like architects. The second thing I want to cover you through here are the three mental models of the 1%. So we're going to look at the first one here, which is leveraged thinking. So rich people ask, how can this work for me? How can this work for me? Not, what do I have to do to make more money? So again, they're looking at, how can this work for me? How can this work without me? And when you ask a better question, you get a better answer. Because the answer is not, well, I'll just wake up earlier and work harder. Now, there might be a season where that's the case to build the right systems and assets and infrastructure, but the question begets the answer. So what wealthy people really start to think about is they're thinking about the people, the capital, the assets, the systems that they can invest in, whether it's their own time or their money, to have that infrastructure built, that short-term build for long-term gain. It's, they're building the house. They understand that they're architecting the house, they're designing the house, they're bringing the workers and contractors together. They understand that there's going to be whatever it is, 12 to 18 months of renovations or builds. But once it's done, the house is done. The system's built, and now that thing can work on their behalf. So as an example, when we work with our clients, a lot of them are coming in having worked or continuing to work one-on-one with clients and patients because that's the system and model they've been taught in. And one of the things we help them do is leverage their coaching. So getting away from one-on-one and help them see that they can help more people at the same time through leverage group coaching. Now, it's actually very simple to do that, but just if we think of the math on this, if you only work one-on-one with clients, you have a bandwidth of, let's call it 25 client sessions per week before you want to jump off a cliff. And if you charge $100 per hour, then you make $2,500 per week, which is essentially $10,000 a month. Not bad, but that's just client work. Then you have the marketing, you have the admin, you have all the other stuff. And that's not a lot for that level of work. But what if you could work with 25 clients in 1 hour a week? Okay, Yuri, well, my clients will never get better results. Exactly. That's how poor people think. I can't do that. There's no way that's possible. And we'll talk a little bit further about those types of questions as we go through this video. But please understand, right now, I actively coach more than 490 clients in 2 hours a week. How do I do that? Because I've built the right team, I built the right systems, and I built the right infrastructure so that our clients get way more help and support and clarity and structure than they would if they ever worked with me one-on-one. And so that's about thinking like a systems architect, an owner, not just the doer in the business. The second mental model that's a bit different with the 1% is they lengthen the time horizon. I can tell immediately where someone is in their business based on what they're focused on and the time frame. So if it's how do I make money tomorrow? How do I get my clients by next week? Right away, I'm okay, I know what we're dealing with. We're dealing with a entry-level business, early stage business, acquisition's the big issue, getting clients. Cool. But if I'm having a conversation with someone's hey, I'm starting to systemize a bunch of stuff so we can prepare for private equity in a year from now. I'm well, obviously that's a very different conversation. But even if we just kind of come to the middle, to the best of your ability, if you as the owner can focus more of your thinking long-term, your business will do better. Now, I understand that you have to take care of the immediate as well. But why so many business owners get burnt out is because there's this contrast or this balance of urgent and importance. I think it's the Eisenhower matrix, right? The 4 boxes. If everything you're doing is urgent and not important, it feels like everything's it's a fire. Everything's getting nonstop fire. It's very reactive. That's when you get burnt out. Versus if everything you're doing is important but not urgent, that's long-term down the road. How are we building for Q2 of next year? What type of developments can we make to this program to make it better? Not tomorrow, but 6 months down the road. When you can spend more of your time there, you will have a tremendous amount more joy in your business. But you also have to earn the right to get there, because when you're getting things going, you're doing everything. You're wearing all the hats, you're in the trenches, you're stepping out, doing the thinking, and it's a lot of work. 0 to 1 is the hardest. 0 to 1 million, 0 to 100,000, it's hard because you have to do everything. You have to learn all the skills, you have to do everything yourself for the most part. And then once you hit that millions, you got proof of concepts, you got product market fit, you got some like cruising altitude stability, you're good. But up until that point, it's a lot. So to the best of your ability, even if you're in the trenches on a daily basis, take time every week to step back, even if it's once a week on a Sunday, to prepare for the week ahead. Look back over the week, look ahead over the coming week, and think to yourself, how is what I'm doing moving me closer to the big objectives that I have 3 months, 12 months down the road? I know things change very rapidly with technology, but can you start to forecast further out? Also, expectations. If you expect, I find this hilarious. We help a lot of clients with advertising. So they use meta ads to get clients, and someone will spend $3,500 to enroll a $2,500 client. Okay, they've never run ads in their life, and they're like, this doesn't work. I'm not doing this anymore. And I'm like, and that's why you'll be broke for the rest of your life. Because you think that a $3,500 investment to learn and build the skill to enroll one client for less money means it's not working. And when I look at other very successful business owners, including myself, they're like, I am happy if I break even on my advertising, because they understand that the value is in the long term. And they build their business in such a way where obviously they try to capture as much cash up front, but they also don't freak out when they're a little bit in the red. Because again, they're thinking long term, not I need to make this money by tomorrow, otherwise this doesn't work. Small thinking, small time horizons, small business. Small business, small bank account. Small bank account, big problems. Hey, we'll get back to the video in just a moment, but if you're enjoying this content, hit that subscribe button below. It will help me sleep a lot better at night. But more importantly for you, it'll help you build your dream a lot faster. So go ahead, subscribe, and we'll get back to the show. The third mental model that the 1% have different is they look for asymmetric bets. So let's come back to the example of advertising. Average thinkers and people who struggle in business and struggle financially look for certainty. They play safe. They get the job, the 9 to 5, so they have a pension, and they invest their money in a 401k or the stock market that makes a whopping 9% per year, shoot me in the fucking head. What the 1% do differently is they're looking at where is there an asymmetric possible return here. And I shared this with our clients recently. I said, most of my ads suck, except for the ones that don't. And Mark Cuban famously says you only have to be right once.
You just have to try different things, and even if 99% of them fail, you only have to be right one time.
And that's what this is about. If I look at advertising, I've written thousands of ads over the years. Most of my ads have not performed at all. But the ones that have, call it 10%, have generated tens of millions of dollars for me personally. And when I look at that, I approach everything on the creative side with the mindset of this could be the one. This might not be the one, but it could be the one. I'm not expecting one ad to oh my God, I wrote 2 ads and my business hasn't exploded. It's like, this stuff doesn't work. No. I go into it knowing percentages. Like the best of anything, it doesn't matter. It's 80-20. Most of the stuff you put out there is not going to work. I go into it knowing that. And still, I'm thinking, I know this may not work, but if it does, this could change everything. And when you look at that from an asymmetric bet perspective, I look at the asymmetric work is writing the ad. It's spending the money to test the ad. But the return potential has no ceiling. It's infinite. And I think if you can adopt that mindset, that starts to really shift things. Because for me, when I look at content, and I love content, I love YouTube because this is an asymmetric bet for me. So what I mean by that is I'm shooting this video now. This video will stay on YouTube forever. So I put in 30 minutes of my time and some thinking ahead of time to script it out, and I shoot this video. And then I'm done forever with this video. Now, I will shoot other videos for sure, and naturally some videos do way better than others, but I also know that I'm okay building assets like these videos because I know these assets are going to work with me or work for me forever. So when I say asymmetric return, I look at this as I'm going to invest 30 minutes, maybe an hour with everything involved to shoot the video. The payoff of this video, compounded with my other ones, means more people see our stuff. They build more know, like, and trust, assuming they like the stuff. That builds more affinity to our brand and eventually wanting to work with us at some point in the future. And I don't have to be involved in any of that other than shooting the videos, which I spend a few hours a week doing. So I look at a few hours a week for massive potential growth down the road. I'm in. By contrast, Instagram stories, I don't actually have Instagram on my phone because I find it incredibly annoying as a platform, very, very frustrating based on the type of creator that I am. And although it has tremendous value, and obviously some businesses are way better than I am with their Instagram stuff, I don't like creating content that disappears in 24 hours. Because for me, unless I have a massively engaged following, which I don't, I mean, I have 100 and some like thousand followers, engagement's okay. But if I post a story with a call to action and nothing happens, okay, cool, that happens a lot. But if I had that type of context where I could post the story and 1,000 people are like, I want it, that's an asymmetric bet. So it's where are you willing to play the game? Where are you willing to make the bets? For me personally, I'm willing to make the bets on people. Hiring exceptional people is one of the most incredible asymmetric returns you can ever make, or bets you can place, if you will. Advertising with the right type of ecosystem around it, incredible. Content as well, but content, just like all of these take time. So it's a matter of like, where can you divert, where makes the most sense for you? What's the time horizon? And then just being realistic about the fact that it's going to take time. Like when we started this YouTube channel, I told our team, I don't care what comes from this. I don't care what comes from this in the first 3 to 5 years. I'm going to create content I want to create. We will learn about what's working. We'll put more of it out there, etc. I have a pretty good gist of our market, and I'm just going to put out stuff I feel is valuable. I'm creating this for myself, not for you. I mean, hopefully it's valuable, but I create this for myself to express my art, if you will. I know by doing that, eventually I will be rewarded in whatever way that looks. Better brands, bigger following, more clients, all that stuff. But that's not going to happen tomorrow. Whereas with advertising, I can publish an ad today and tomorrow we could have people paying us money. That's why I love advertising. And for the first several years of this business, we did nothing other than that. And then as we obviously built the business and built the infrastructure, team, resources, now we do stuff like this where the time horizons are a lot longer, okay? But those are 3 big mental shifts around the 1%. So this last one here is where in your business, in your life, can you make asymmetric bets where you understand the risk, you understand the reward. And please understand this, is that the risk is not in the investment, it's in the investor. It's not in the where you're putting your time and money, it's whether or not you actually know what the hell you're doing. So in becoming a day trader without any knowledge of how to day trade is a very big risk. But if you know your business more than anything else, and you put all of your money there to multiply, that's a pretty darn good bet because you have control over it. You have knowledge, expertise, the whole thing. So where can you make small bets or big bets for even bigger returns? Okay, so this third part here, we're going to talk about rewiring your thinking from scarcity to strategy and abundance. This is one of the most prevalent problems that I notice between those who really struggle and those who succeed. See, people who struggle, they have the scarcity mindset, which is, how do I save more? I will pay when I have money, okay? I don't have enough. Whereas the strategic abundant mindset is, how do I create more? If I want to make more, if I want to earn more, that is an effect of a cause. What's the cause? How do I create? So in this world, how this works is you get paid in direct proportion to the value you create in the marketplace. So if you create a lot of stuff and no one likes it, it doesn't matter if you created a lot of stuff. The market's telling you, I don't value what you've created. You need to learn from that and adjust your approach. Maybe it's the offer, it's the content, the messaging, whatever it is. But you cannot make more by doing nothing. You can't just sit and sing kumbaya and good vibes are going to bring money into your lap. You definitely have to maintain a high vibe. High frequency, high vibration, energy attracts like to itself. So if you are in a scarcity mindset, if you've got low frequency, low vibes, you're not going to be attracting abundance. That's guaranteed. But tactically, pragmatically, You have to put stuff into the world that people can consume and exchange for money. So if you create nothing, no content, no offers, no paid services or products, I mean, like maybe you're going to get a check in the mail from someone that's going to give you money. I don't know. So please understand that it's not like no one owes you anything. Nobody owes you anything. Every single day you wake up is a new day. You have to earn your keep. You have to put in the work. You have to add value, constantly add value, and keep being a giver. I'm going to give you a couple reframes here. Scarcity mindset. Can I afford this? Abundant strategic mindset, or the 1%. How can I afford this? Right? So moving away from like, can I afford this, to how can I afford this? What's the risk? What's the risk? How do I know this is going to work? Well, the 1% think, what's the opportunity cost of not doing this? What if this does work? So instead of what is it going to cost me, what is it going to cause me? Another mindset shift. I'll do it myself. That's what a lot of the scarce think about. The 1%. Who can do this better than me? Who can I ride the coattails of? Who's already been where I want to go? These are all leveraged questions that open up possibility to find solutions. You see, the 1% may not necessarily have the resources initially, but they're more resourceful. I may not have the money, I may not have the resources, but I can be resourceful. I will find a way because it's important enough to me. That's what matters most. So as we wrap this video up, I hope some of these mindset shifts have helped you see things a little bit differently. Again, moving away from just visualization on its own. Visualization is amazing, but it's not enough by itself. Working hard alone is not enough. Like you have to work hard on the right things. And we're looking for those leverage points, systems, assets, people, infrastructure around you where you can work on the business so the business can work for you. We talked about making asymmetric bets where you're investing in things that you understand better than anyone else, where if you invest a little or a lot of money, the return can be exponential because you as the investor are the risk or not based on your product knowledge or your expertise in that domain. So remember, you don't get rich by working harder. It definitely helps, but you get rich by thinking in a way that makes wealth inevitable. And when you upgrade your thinking, wealth will chase you. So if you've enjoyed this video, two things. Subscribe to the channel. I've got hundreds of other videos to help you grow a successful online business. Whether you're a health expert, coach, or other, you'll still get tremendous amounts of value. And while you're here, if you're a health coach or expert who wants to scale your coaching business specifically, you might really enjoy our $1 Million Health Coaching Roadmap, which is the next video right here.